Okay, Nick and Andy, it's a big one to get us back in Premier League action after the international break. Liverpool against Chelsea at Anfield. This is going to be a beauty. Always is when these two teams meet. They've impressed so far early in the season, right, Nick Mendola? I mean, two new managers, two new styles of play, quite a lot of new players trying to figure it all out. But yes, fixtures may have been kind to both of the teams, apart from maybe one or two. But they've done all right. So I think I'm excited. Are you excited about the direction both of these teams are heading?
I am. This is a real litmus test game. I love those. It feels like we haven't had a ton of them yet this season for good reason. Liverpool has controlled most of the games they've played. And again, that is a very good reason. They're about to go through a brutal run of fixtures, but also they've controlled those games and they've beaten AC Milan and they've beaten Bologna. And so you can only play who's in front of you. We all know what this is from watching any sport you've ever watched your entire life. Chelsea, on the other hand, are a really difficult team to plan for right now. You know what Maresca did last year at Leicester. You can see what he wants to do here, but I still don't feel like we're seeing a lot of tendencies from them. And it's a good thing. It could be a bad thing too. Maybe we'll talk about that in a month, but I wouldn't want to plan for them. Whereas I do feel like I know what Liverpool are going to do. The fact are they've just been darn good at it. So somebody's going to confirm their status this weekend. Somebody is. Liverpool will be a title contender or Chelsea will be a top 4 favorite. If not a title contender, that's going to happen. 8 weeks in, you can make those judgments. So very exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this one because, like you said, there's a clear, big test for both of these teams. Obviously, Chelsea having City on the opening weekend, did okay but lost. And then Liverpool's biggest test so far was away at Man United, and we know what the shambles they're in right now, and they won that very, very easily. Andy, when we look at Slott's evolution, no revolution, just an evolution after Klopp, it's very clear in terms of the way they are changing things, more possession, more control, like Nick mentioned. And looking at some of the stats, I mean, they've had more touches in the middle third of the pitch than any other team in the Premier League so far this season. So Ryan Gravenberch is key to that and just keeping things steady and balanced. I mean, the top of the table going into this weekend, do you think that midfield kind of calmness is key to them staying at that end of the table this season and kind of maintaining this title? Because they did it last season and then they collapsed as they did under Klopp towards the end of the campaign quite a lot. But it seems like they have more staying power, this style of play under Arne Slot this season. Is that fair enough to say? It's still early, but I feel like that's the big change between the two managers.
Yeah, I think that's definitely safe to say. Their floor is higher. Like if they have their worst day, I don't think they're going to get beaten 2-0, 3-0 by many teams in the league. That's just not going to happen to them. But I don't feel like they have quite the ceiling that they have had in recent years. And maybe that's something that Slot is kind of building back up to. And some of these ideas of possession and more control and slower play early in the season are going to be those building blocks going forward. But I don't think so. It's I don't know, predictable, effective, certainly, but it is quite predictable the way that they play when they have the ball. It's a lot of side to side. It's a lot of sideways passing. It's a lot of backwards passing. We haven't seen that from Liverpool, and so that makes them, maybe not fully, completely familiar with the way that they want to play. I do worry a little bit about the midfield in this game specifically with Gravenberch, McAllister, and if it's going to be, I don't know, Curtis Jones or whoever else is going to be that third one there in the center, they're still playing without a defensive midfielder. And that's great when you've got lots of possession against a team that you feel like can't really hurt you on the counterattack. What did Chelsea want to do? What have Chelsea done to incredible devastation of teams in recent weeks? Counterattack. Noni Madueke is the main one. Cole Palmer now coming back into form, back in the team. It's just, timing-wise, this is very interesting, I think, for Liverpool, and a little bit of you guys say a banana skin game over there, right, Joe? This has a little bit of that feeling for Liverpool, I think.
Proper, it's like Mario Kart all over the place, basically. It's Gravenberch, I think, is interesting because it gives Trent Alexander-Arnold more license to kind of maraud forward into midfield, and Gravenberch naturally will just plug little gaps and almost slot into the back four. But you're right, I think more so for his battle against Caicedo and Fernandes in this game. I think is interesting to see if he can be that true kind of number 6 or holding midfielder that Slot wants him to be. We know he's good on the ball when he's got time and no pressure on him, but those two are going to be stepping high, snapping in the challenges, and then you got Cole Palmer, Madueke, Sancho, Jackson around you, and it's going to be really interesting to see what Liverpool do in that holding midfielder. I think they'll keep it the same because it's worked great so far, but you're right. I think that's where teams can really get at them. And Nick, when Chelsea, we talked about it a lot, playing style has totally changed under Enzo Maresca, wants to play out from the back, different to Pochettino in a lot of ways. They have some issues, right, with suspensions. Cucurella and Fofana are both out for this one. So we think Vega's going to come in at left back. He's done all right in the Conference League, and probably Tosin at centre back. So a few issues with that settled back four being shaken up a bit. But the attacking players I mentioned there, when they're on form and as a collective unit this season, they've been pretty unstoppable. So they're the key, right? Keeping them fit to Chelsea being in the top four. I'm not going to say title challenge yet, but if they go to Anfield and win, they're right there all of a sudden. And we haven't been talking about Chelsea in this manner for a long time now.
Look, it's a week-to-week league at this point in the season. Chelsea have less of a challenge on their plate than a Liverpool or an Arsenal or a Man City in terms of, I mean, the fixture congestion is there, but let's face it, prioritizing is not going to be an issue here. So, if they win this game, you can continue to look at them as someone who could prioritize the Premier League and see how they do when they face Man City a second time, see how they do against Arsenal. And I just think, look, I'm coming here from Buffalo, and to be fair, we'll say this for Andy as well. When you've got attacking firepower like a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes, but in Chelsea's case, 6 or 7 players single-handedly capable of being the best attacking player on the pitch, those other things will clean themselves up. It makes a Moises Caicedo job easier. It makes a Levi Colwell job easier. And it just, simply put, would not surprise me, because what's the one thing that I think is missing from Liverpool? I think we're over-glorifying Diego Jota because he cleans up messes. They don't have a center forward. And Chelsea have players who can attack you from all angles, and that's an advantage to them in this match. So I don't think I wouldn't bet on Chelsea competing for the Premier League title. But if you told me in February we're still talking about them, I would not be shocked at all.
Yeah, it's not bad to have Felix, Neto, and Nkunku just coming off the bench for the final 20, 30 minutes.
Jackson, by the way, right? We dogged on him. A lot of people dogged him for missed chances, the same way we dogged on Darwin Nunez. The difference is Jackson is not missing those chances as much this year.
Yeah, more clinical. And I think that is the one worry with this Liverpool team, that if Salah doesn't score and produce a moment of magic, then they have looked a bit mechanical and robotic at times.
Diaz has been good. But you're right. Good. Who else? Yeah. I'd like to see more Gakpo. I don't know how you guys feel about him, but I think he's an intriguing in the Havertz mold almost.
Yeah, him and Nunez obviously just capable of ripping teams apart. But I think it's just that consistency, and haven't quite found it yet. And as I said at the top, the fixture list hasn't been that tough for Liverpool. So that's why this is really, really intriguing against an informed Chelsea this weekend. Andy, I want to come to you for the score prediction, mate. What are you feeling for this one? How tight is it going to be? Because it feels like it's going to be very close.
Yeah, it's a 1-goal. Is it a 1-goal game or is it a 0-goal game? I think it's going to be a 1-goal game. I'm going to go with Chelsea just for kind of the point I made earlier. The midfield of Liverpool, untested against this much attacking talent, they're going to be under siege at points in this game. And how are they going to handle that? I don't think we quite know at this point. So I'll go 2-1 Chelsea.
Nick?
I think for a similar reason, I think the midfield could look anyway. Loose balls could be popping out in several directions. I think there are going to be a lot of chances in this game. Konate has been very good this year. Van Dijk's been fine for sure, but I just think that there are going to be ways through there, and there are definitely going to be ways through at the other end. The Cucurella absence is significant, so I'm actually going to go for a multi-goal draw, 2-2.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're talking about there. I have serious doubts that Jadon Sancho isn't going to get lots of space in this game behind Alexander-Arnold in particular. I think that's an area, Cole Palmer, and they'll combine. But I just think Liverpool only conceded twice this season. Yes, some of the teams they played haven't been great, but I think the control that they're having in game the possession, they'll just stifle Chelsea a little bit on the counter-attack and mess up their rhythm. We saw that a little bit against Man City on the opening weekend as well. I think Liverpool will get it done. 2-1 win. But I think it's going to be, like Nick said, a lot of chances. And I just think Salah, I can see him having a big day with Cucurella not there to man mark him. So it's going to be a fun one at Anfield. Liverpool against Chelsea. Head over to Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com for all the latest how to watch information, analysis. We'll have live updates, reaction, and much more. Great to have the Premier League back. Nick and Andy, great to have you joining me. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And we'll speak to you all very soon indeed. Cheers, guys.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And if you want even more Premier League content from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.